So we're going to start out making something called bruschetta, which I'm sure you've had somewhere in a restaurant, or maybe you've made it at home. And it translates to toasted bread or bruised bread. So here in this frying pan, I've just toasted some whole wheat bread in a little bit of olive oil. You want to get just a nice little color on that. Don't make it too hard or you won't be able to cut into it with a fork and knife. So you just want to brown it up nicely and then take them out onto some paper towel and allow that to drain. So we're going to let that sit right there while we go on to the next part of this recipe. So bruschetta starts out with peppers. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that you've got nice plump looking peppers. They should feel heavy in your hand and they should have no bruises on them. And you want to cut them up, and inside, of course, you've got to get rid of all of those seeds. So you just get rid of that, and you get rid of these ribs right here. You see these little ribs inside, this little white section here? That's called the rib, and you want to take that little stem area out, and then you just shake it up, and you cut them up into strips. For this particular recipe, you want strips of red peppers. So after you do that, you put them in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, you see? And then you have something that looks like this because you've cooked the peppers down. And here I've used a combination of the yellow and the red pepper, and that's going to be the topping for the bruschetta. So besides the red pepper, let me put this off to the side now, you need some tomatoes. And I like to use cherry tomatoes for this. So you can cut the cherry tomatoes up into small pieces because you're going to be putting this on top of bread and you want to make this easy to eat. So I would say, about 8 good-looking cherry tomatoes. Now in the bowl with the cherry tomatoes, I have a little bit of sugar and dried oregano. And then I want to have a little bit of garlic with this, a nice clove of garlic. So you want to mince that up. Give it a good smash and throw that in with the tomatoes. And then all you have to do is put those peppers in with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and that's your topping for bruschetta. How easy is this? Doesn't take any time at all. So there is the garlic, and now some olive oil. You can just eyeball this. You need, I'd say about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Mix that around, and I always add the sugar because I never met a tomato that didn't like a little bit of sugar with it. Now we put in those peppers, see? You want to let them cool down a little bit because you don't want the bread to become too soggy. So you put the peppers in. Isn't that pretty? You mix this all around, and that's all there is to it. And then you're ready to top the bread. So you take some of that and you spread it right over the top of the bread. And of course, you know you're going to be eating this with a fork and a knife.